Hi guys, I saw this video while I was scrolling through TikTok, so I just took the opportunity to stitch it sort of thing and comment on it. Okay, so before we even get into it, I just want to say I don't know the backstory with this. I've literally just seen the video, so I'm just going to use it as a bit of training advice off the cuff that can hopefully help stop this happening for you guys. Okay, so as we can see, ladies walking down the street with what looks like a Staffie or a bully type breed, and then out of nowhere another Staffie bully type dog has come running from the address, okay, followed by the owner. First and foremost, threshold training, massively important, massive advocate of it. Okay, so we use threshold training for loads of different things, not just doors. It's any sort of discipline that we need to instill to get them to do a command and wait until they get the go-ahead. So whether that's going out the front door, crossing the road, picking something up off the floor like a toy, we'll use it, do you mean? It's all threshold training, guys. You're all putting them at a threshold where they could step over that line, but they don't, and they look into you and wait for the engagement and wait for the command to do so, okay? So we're going to base this on the fact that the dog has run out of an open door, clearly, because I can't see him getting up and opening the door himself. So, door threshold. Put your dog on a lead, take them to the front door, back door, whatever door you use, okay? Open that door. If they dash forward, step in front of them or use the door as a blocker, close the door. Give them a couple of seconds to calm down, open the door again. If they do the same again, repeat the process. Block, close the door, okay? Keep that process going until when you open that door, the dog does not move. The dog's action should be look outside, acknowledge the door is open, and then look to you for further command. Once they do that, then you can give them the command that you choose to use, a reward marker saying yes or good, and you walk through that door. Keep nailing that process until it becomes second nature to them. And then in that instance then, you won't have to worry about opening the door or the door being left open by mistake and your dog bolting out the door, which is what appears to have happened in this video, okay? So just nail that threshold training, it's so important. Also, in addition to that is collars. Every dog should really have a collar on. People who walk their dogs on harnesses should still have a collar on. I'm always an advocate of collars, regardless of whether you walk them on a collar or walk them on a slip lead or walk them on a holstey or walk them on a harness, whatever your preference, always have a collar. It's always that second fallback to have a bit of control if, for argument's sake, you use a harness and they manage to slip it. We see a lot of reactive dogs on harnesses and they will purposely back out away from the owner as the owner's pulling them. They tighten their shoulders up to make them more streamlined and they'll slip out of that harness. They know exactly what they're doing and they're gone. If you've not got a collar on, good luck trying to control that dog, or if it runs over to someone else, for them to control it. So you just have to be mindful of that, guys, okay? So going further into the video, the dogs run out straight into the path of what looks like another bully or Staffie type dog. Instantly, the dog's reacted on the end of a lead. The woman's being swung round crazily, but she's shouting and screaming. Worst thing you can do, guys, if two dogs are going at it, worst thing you can do is make more noise and commotion, okay? You imagine walking down the street past a few people and they don't say a word, don't acknowledge you, you're going to feel quite relaxed. If you walk past a few people in the street and they're shouting and screaming and you can clearly see something's going on, it's going to put you on edge. And a dog's exactly the same. If that dog has run out into the path of another dog and the dog that's already in the street is reacting, if he hears his owner then shouting and screaming, all he's going to think in his head is, this dog is dangerous and I need to keep fighting to protect my mum, not realising that the mum's scream is out of panic because she doesn't want that incident occurring. They won't think that logically, obviously. Okay, so just be mindful. There's no need to shout and scream. You just need to have the confidence to take control of the situation, okay, which is what we're going to talk about. So the dogs have come out, they've clashed, there's a bit of handbags at dawn. You can't really see due to the camera angle, but it does look like the offending dog coming from the address has managed to bite or latch on. We can't tell whether it's skin on skin or whether he's grabbing the collar of the other dog, because a lot of dogs will go for the collar just for the control element. So we're going to base it on the fact that this dog has latched on and what you can do, okay? So again, reverting back to what I said about collars, okay? You can see the gentleman that's let the dog out has got obviously some sort of knowledge, or it's just more luck than judgment. But you are to grab that collar, pull up slightly, only a little bit of slack, just allowing you to turn that collar, twist, and you're basically suffocating that dog and cutting off all the restriction of air, okay? Not nice, granted, but once it's got to the point where two dogs are latched on, that's the least of your worries, okay, guys? It's not going to long-term harm the dog, okay? All it's going to do, two things. They're either going to disengage from the bite because they want their air circulation, okay, or they're not, and they're going to carry on, which means you're never going to have stopped them anyway. They'll carry on biting, and eventually the air circulation will run out and they will effectively pass out, thus disengaging, okay? The other thing you can do is, if you do have a slip lead to hand, you can put the slip lead under their neck, which I showed you in another video, and use that to tighten it. Obviously, if you're walking down the street and you're not expecting that to happen, the chances of you having a slip lead are slim to none, okay? So that is the main tactic we use when a dog is biting, just to stop any risk of hands being bitten, trying to prise their mouth open. Don't do any of that. And despite what, contrary to popular belief is, dogs don't actually lock their jaw. They're just so in the moment with their reactivity that they don't disengage. It's not a physical thing where they can actually lock their jaw. That's all wives' tales. You will get a dog off if you cut off the air circulation, or they're going to suffocate. They'll make a choice of breathing or disengaging, or carrying bite or biting. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay. I hope that helps, guys, but just remember in the back of your mind, unfortunately, we fall into a small, medium, large minority now, I would say, of bully Staffie owners, whichever you want to call it, especially with the XL bully at the moment. If that had been a spaniel or a sausage dog, it probably wouldn't have had the press that it's had, okay? So just be mindful, we are Staffie owners, we are bully owners, and thus we are going to be judged a lot more heavily, okay? We can't afford to let these things happen, because all it does is another notch for that breed. It's another dig in the stigma that we've already got against the bully breed, okay? So we just need to be mindful. Again, no hate to that owner. These things do happen, okay? But if you've implemented the correct threshold training, this may not have happened. I'm not saying it's going to eradicate the problem completely, because unfortunately, the best trained dogs in the world will have moments where the temptation of going after another dog is always going to be better than listening to the owner when it comes to threshold training. But I just thought I'd use this video to touch on a few points and the importance of why we teach threshold training, why we use the dog's collar, not just a harness, and what you can do if the worst case happens and a bite does happen. I hope that helps, guys. If you need anything from us, obviously get in touch. If you haven't already, come over to Facebook. We've got a group, Staffie Training Help. Get in there, great community, lots of cute dog pictures, lots of advice, and we might be able to help you should you be facing any issues with your dog, with any training or behavioural issues. And if you haven't already, like and follow us on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Cheers, guys. Team Staffie.